Welcome to the Secrets to Mindful Health podcast. I'm your host, Beth Warren. Today we have a special guest, Sally Shinko, known as the Tahini Goddess. Sally is a Mediterranean mom on a mission. She has a line of products that are gluten-free, kosher certified, and vegan, from an all-natural tahini and 0-gram sugar halva made from sesame seeds. Welcome, Sally.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
I'm good. So that was a really quick intro, but I'd love if you tell everyone a little bit more about your journey, what led you to be known as the Tahini Goddess, and your line of products, your balance of family life and wellness, and all the great things I even follow you for.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I am Sally Shimko. I was born and raised in Israel. I moved to the US about 13 years ago, and both of my kids were born here in Miami. We're in Miami specifically. And really what started my journey is the biggest part of it was motherhood when I became a mom and I had to step into the kitchen. And my son, my firstborn, Ethan, is a very, very picky eater. So I had to, come up with a lot of creativity and, everything, has to look in a certain way. So I decided to step into the kitchen and to create my own recipes. And I started sharing everything on a blog, and every single Thursday I had Tahini Thursday, because tahini was, the number one item that I would always have in my pantry. So I decided to dedicate a day every week to all my, tahini recipes. And I truly believe, that both tahini and halva, which are made of sesame seed, as you said, is such a great way to enjoy, eating vegetables and to enjoy, eating healthy eating, really what we call.
And let's actually explain for people who don't know what tahini, you say it so nice in your Israeli accent, or tahini paste. People might know that more in America. What exactly is it? And let's start there.
So to describe it as simple as it is, tahini is ground sesame seeds. And halva is the same. It's made from sesame seeds, but it's sweet and it's in a different texture. The tahini is more, as you said, like as a paste texture, as a nut butter. And halva, specifically mine, and the reason I say specifically mine, because both my tahini and halva have a very special texture that we can talk about. But I really call my halva the Mediterranean cookie dough, because it's more of in a cookie dough texture. But both products are very, very versatile, and you can use them in so many different ways. That's probably my favorite part about
that makes so much sense why you tried to develop that for your son, who you're saying was a picky eater, and you have to try to get him to eat something. So it makes a lot more sense why it would be a tahini paste, which would have protein, healthy fats. Like you said, it's versatile. It encourages eating vegetables. So I totally understand that. What's so intriguing to me was that off of Instagram, you have such a literally beautiful presence, but also you seem like such a natural in the kitchen. You're comfortable. Your kids are there. So it's so helpful for others to hear that you got started in the kitchen later in life.
Yes, so much later. I have to say, growing up in Israel and my background, it's all about, no matter where we're from, because the background is so, diverse in Israel. And I have so many different cuisines in my house that I grew up on, but all of them is like really Mediterranean food. And the number one really is always food. Food brings everyone together. Food, gather everyone around the table. So that's something I grew up on, eating homemade food. But I have to say, I wasn't one of those that, not like my girl, for example, or my daughter. She loves baking and she loves cooking, and she always asks me if I want help in the kitchen. And really, she got into the kitchen naturally, versus my son, that I got him into the kitchen because I thought it will be a good way to expose him to different types of food, and maybe we'll give him the chance to decide to try something different. But as a child myself, I was not one of those that helping my mom, wanting to bake or cook. I always had homemade food, and I always knew the importance of food and eating healthy, lots of vegetables and lots of fresh food and seasonal food. But I really discovered the kitchen, like you say, so much later as a mom.
Mhm.
And all my recipes are 5 ingredients, 5 minutes prep,
I love
mess
that.
free. They were born for moms that want to know what they eat. They want it to be delicious. They want the kids, to eat healthy food as well, but it has to be fast, simple, and mess free. That's my kitchen rules.
Oh, I love the mess-free one because that's hard to come by. So you developed this whole line of products. You also have really interesting combos. So everybody knows I have tasted Sally's varieties of tahini pastes, and they are amazing. And I'm not kidding. When I see you just eat it by the spoonfuls, and now I see that you developed a pouch literally to squeeze in your mouth. Some people could see that and be like, oh, I would never do that. But I'm telling you, it's that good. So, how did you come to develop the combinations and those flavors?
So the combinations really were born long time before I even dreamed or thought that I'm gonna, manufacture tahini on my own. I
Mhm.
used to make them in my own kitchen. Every single Thursday, I'll make a different flavor of tahini, and I came up with baking recipes and you name it, really. Anything out there. There's so many recipes that I used to share every single Thursday. And when the reason really why I decided to create my own tahini is because when people used to go to the store and buy tahini to try my recipes, I got really bad reactions from people. Really,
Oh,
really, the reviews about the tahini that they found at the store, even if it's the same one that I used to use, were like, how do you like it? It doesn't taste right. And the texture, there is like lots of like cement in the bottom. Like if you know tahini,
yes.
for our listeners that know tahini, they know that in the bottom normally there is like a big chunk of paste. For those of you who doesn't know, I can explain that as we said, tahini is made out of sesame seeds, halva as well. And the reason that my own moment that was when I decided to visit other factories to see why really there is such difference between different tahini, and why there is different in texture. And when I realized that all the tahini out there are made in modern machinery, that first
Mm,
of all kills all the benefits, because when you put sesame seeds and even nuts to grind them in a modern machinery, in a massive one, and you do it with high quantities, it warms up and it really kills all the benefits. You follow me for a while, so the number one that I preach from day one on my Instagram page is food with benefits. There is
mm.
so many incredible benefits to so many delicious food that our body can enjoy, and it's a win-win situation, of course. But we don't know so many products on the shelf out there that we think, oh, the ingredients looks amazing and what a great marketing, and the packaging it looks so good, but no one stopped for a second to think about the process of the
That is
product.
huge. I just felt the chills to that because, and that's what I wanted to segue into. we just started off talking about you getting in the kitchen later in life and really doing it mostly for your son, and then finding this niche with tahini because of, nutritionally for him, it would have been beneficial. Plus, you knew the quality and you use that expertise. But what you're getting at, just so you know, is that you segued into this whole wellness vibe that feels super authentic, and you share a lot of your wellness little habits, tahini or otherwise, your workouts, all that balance. And it seems like from what you're saying, and I would love for you to expand that, through your world of tahini, you got into wellness, or you started recognizing the benefits of wellness.
Absolutely. It's such like an organically way, it's like, it's one of those things that everything is so synced that you don't know what lead to the other. But absolutely, my entire, perspective started changing once I started creating my own recipes, because as you said, each recipe I wanted to have benefits behind it, health benefits, for, especially if you have a kid that is a picky eater, and you only get this one meal
This
a
one
day, or
bite.
if exactly, or if my daughter used to be a juice lover, so juicing the fruit and the veggies, I really got into it, because I'm like, what is the point of buying those really expensive juices at the store and they have zero vitamins and minerals left after the process that they went through, and
I think it's really interesting that your step into the kitchen unfolded. Your start basically was getting down and dirty with the food, so to speak, and seeing maybe the value in that, the benefits, and then how that opened up into being more nutritious, which is what they do show in research. Or one suggestion to have kids, quote unquote, eat healthier is actually get them in the kitchen, get them cooking, get them having fun. It's just amazing to see your journey with it and how that expanded.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. And so that really was my big oh moment, when I realized that these beautiful sesame seeds that contain so many minerals and so much vitamins and all the good fatty acids, and really we're not getting it from those, that type of process of going through a modern machinery. The second reason was when I realized that they don't separate the peels. So that's
Mhm.
why my tahini, the texture and the halva are so different, because all that paste, and the reason why I always say my tahini is not a sesame paste, it's liquid gold, because there's no paste at the bottom. It's literally like a butter texture. We remove all the sesame skin completely, which first of all, it's much harder to digest. So no one wants, the sesame skin. Same goes with nuts, a lot of, for example, with almonds, if you eat too many of them with the skin on, it becomes toxic in your body. So it's
Hmm.
super important to know what you're eating, especially if you consider that product a healthy product, product
Right.
that's
And if
supposed
you're
to
planning to
benefit
eat
my body.
if you're planning to eat a lot of it, or if this is what your kids are eating, you want to maximize the benefits. It's also notably not free, obviously, because technically speaking, it's from sesame seeds. So you're still able to get all those healthy fats and nutrients from it. But I actually want to kind of take a sidestep. I wouldn't even call a step back, because I'm hearing all this, and I'm also a businesswoman, and I'm hearing how much you're invested in this, even physically, even mentally, how much that takes. And you keep referencing your two kids. So I'm wondering how, and this is my biggest question I get, how you manage the work-life balance. How did that factor in as something you did later in life with kids and a family?
um it's one of those things, when people is I get so many DMs, I'm sure you too, on Instagram, from so many incredible ladies. It's, I want to do my own thing, I want to get ready, what do I do? And it's one of those things. It's the same when I used to ask before I had my own kids, like, am I ready for a baby? You, and a business, a baby, it's all of those things that are unpredictable. You
Mhm.
can get ready for it. And balance is something you need to create daily. It's not just going to happen. It's a daily work with everything, especially, with having your own business as well. I really truly believe with my type of business, because I had a different business before when I was much younger and before my kids. This time it was completely different because the product was born out of a necessity, and the business grew very, very organically. Every product that I come up with is because I felt the need for it, or a lot of my followers were asking me to recommend something and I couldn't find something that is good enough to recommend. So I decided to make my own. And in the beginning, when I just started as a mom, I was very overwhelmed. I found myself crying in the kitchen, not in the kitchen, in the shower.
Yes,
A
we all
lot,
have those moments.
because I really didn't know how to deal with balancing at all. And in the beginning, my kids used to say a lot like, "Oh, you work all the time," or "You're busy," or "You're going again." And a lot of comments that I didn't deal with in the past, because they're growing up, so they understand more. So they know also to say what they think, and kids has no filters. So, it's one of those things that you go through it. It's not easy, and it never gets easy, but it gets more manageable. And I think overall, my family is such a big part of my business, because it's a small business, because it's a female-owned. Everyone has to help. So there's such a big part of it. So I think it's also important to show them the struggle of life, and the struggle of prioritizing what's important for you, and timing, and family, and work. And I grew up with both parents that still work until this day. So I think I learned so much from them, and I'm happy that I'm able to do the same with my kids.
Yes,
So,
and to
and in
lead
those
by example.
yes, so in those hard moments, that's what I try to remember. Um, the purpose. And
Absolutely. I think I really appreciate what you said, because the thing is it's like any transition. Any transition, when you're going to move, when you're getting married, when you're going to a new school, you're starting a business, that comes with a lot of overwhelming everything, because everything gets turned on its head. And what we're talking about here is when there's also kids involved that you're responsible for, and you have to take into account their needs. It's not just you. And it just takes an adjustment for everyone, I feel. And this is what I feel like does make us, honestly, you're like a super mom. Sometimes I cringe when I hear that, because I know my struggles, and I feel like I don't want people to get the wrong impression, which is one reason for this podcast, that even though we make it look superhuman, it is not without crazy challenges. And for me, it's that you all have to just be communicating and paying attention to your kids and allowing time to unfold. As long as, like you said, your priorities are in order, you just recognize there has to be a transition, like in anything. And I think you phrased it perfectly. First of all, two things that you said: you wake up every day figuring out the balance, because it's a daily thing. You think you could have it together, but then the next day comes and you have to find a new shift in your balance. And I actually call it more juggling. I don't think it's balance, because I feel like that means things are on equal footing, and it's not. It's that one ball's a little lower, but it never quite
absolutely,
drops. It never
I
quite
took
drops
it.
that
It's
ball, and then it
juggling.
goes up. It's
Yes,
juggling, and you're just trying to catch the balls, and but the other one then goes up, and you just give things and shift your attention. But you also said that it becomes more manageable, which is a big thing. You never get perfect. You never know what could come up, but you are better able to manage it. And I think that actually ultimately comes from within you, no longer the
right.
circumstance.
Yes, first of all, there's a lot of learning. So, after a while, a lot of things that you just started doing, suddenly with, learning and with getting more experience, and knowledge, then you can have, different tools to help you to manage it all. And yes, and hard work pays off in the end of it. So if you work hard, if you believe in what you do, if you're consistent, then you'll thrive in the end, and it's the most
Beautifully
important.
said. Beautifully said. I think it also gives us a rewarding feeling and helps us show up better because it is something that we're developing, and it's also something that you've developed that's great for other people. So it's even more rewarding and great for your family. And you do include your family. It is something, like you said, that everyone ends up having a hand in. That's impossible to just be a mom and not have everyone literally in your food. So I totally hear that. But if you could take us through now your wellness routine that you share all the time, you have a routine, and that's important also in terms of prioritizing self-care. That's another element that people can't fathom. Wait, you have a business and your kids and you exercise and you drink lemon water, and what are these prebiotics that you came out with too?
Yes. So first of all, knowing no excuses. That's my attitude. And from day one, even when my daughter was a newborn, I used to wake up an hour and a half before her to go to work out, and back then I wasn't even working yet. I was on complete maternity leave, but I knew that if I'm not going to get it down early in the morning, then it's not going to happen throughout my day. So no excuses. That's the number one. And making sure, like you say, planning your day ahead every day to make sure that you can, fit everything that that you have to do that day in a way that is not going to stress you out. If something is stressing you out, it's not worth it. I always say it. So if you know that squeezing in 30 minutes that day will stress you out completely and ruin the entire day, those are the days that I will give up. But if I know that I can wake up an hour and a half before my family, you know that because you follow me, but I do it every single day. And I know that 1 hour and a half is important for my morning meditation, for my lemon water, for my workout. Then I will give up my sleep, or I will give up a night out, before, and I will make sure that the most important things that, makes me a better mom, a better wife, a better businesswoman, that I will make them happen. And it's all about mindset and attitude, because I can give you a million excuses why I need to keep on sleeping that 1 hour in the morning, and why I cannot do this and this and this and that. And in the end of the day, it's my decision, right? So I think it's very important to have a list of, 3 things that you do for yourself, that you have to do them no matter what. And it can be the little tiny things, like you said, preparing my lemon water in the morning, or doing my meditation, doing my workout, and it makes a big difference, because the days that I don't do it, or that I couldn't find the strength in me to continue, then I really feel the difference, and it's major.
I think that's the key. You said to start off just a list of 3 things that you feel you want to do for yourself. Then from there, first of all, understand it comes from a level of sacrifice, even if it's that night out or something along those lines. It does come with an element of sacrifice. And then it comes with an element of, oh, I have to wake up an hour and a half earlier. I always say, as moms, the only way to get things done is to create more hours in the day. That's, you have to literally.
It's the only way.
Yeah. So I think that was a huge tip. So tell me about the prebiotics and how that developed into your repertoire of products, from the tahini
Yes,
paste into prebiotics.
it's funny. I actually started with the prebiotic. It used to be, inulin used to be one of the first products that I started with selling on my website, and also sharing it daily. I discovered it through my pediatrician, with my son many years back, because my pediatrician swears by inulin generally, but especially for kids. And that's how I discovered and started experimenting with it. The reason for those of you who don't know, inulin is indigestible fiber. Really short, what does indigestible fiber mean? In a very simple example, let's say you're eating broccoli now. When it gets into your digestive system knows to recognize it, and it's sending it to the part where we digest fiber and vegetables. When you drink my prebiotic, my organic blue agave inulin, it's one ingredient only. It's made from the roots of the agave plant, the blue agave plant. And because it's indigestible fiber, when you drink it, your digestive system say, hey, what is it? I don't recognize it. This is indigestible. So it's sending it directly to your gut. And we all know by now that everything starts in our gut, everything.
Of course.
Our mood, if it's cortisol levels, if it's digestion, skin, hair, nails, everything, weight loss. So really what it does, it feeds your gut bacteria from the beginning until the end. It's also very beneficial for your immune system because it feeds the probiotics in your system and makes your immune system much stronger. And it keeps you satisfied for a long time. And there's so many amazing health benefits, because when your gut function and the best, then everything is improving.
That's so amazing. And just to follow you and watch how you use these and implement them authentically in your life is just so refreshing. You totally give off a positive vibe, which I love. What could we look forward to you doing in the future? How can we help support you? Where can we get your products?
Oh, thank you so much. My products, we have a store locator. We are at Whole Foods, not nationwide. So it depends on where you are. Hopefully nationwide soon. We're going to add more and more regions throughout the country. But we have many other incredible, small businesses throughout the US and Canada that I would love for you to support locally. We're also at the TahiniGoddess.com and at the Tahini Goddess on Instagram. I'm always going to come out with new products to make us all, to make us health journey enjoyable.
Absolutely. And very practical. And we'll follow you on Instagram at the Tahini Goddess anyway. And also watch what unfolds with your product line and your wellness life. So wishing you the best of luck. For more, follow me on Instagram at Beth_Warren or at the Mindful Health Pod on TikTok or Instagram. Thanks for joining us, Sally.
Thank you so much for having me.